That's right. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Back on the air, baby. Week 1 was last week. Find it on demand. Get caught up, and then every Sunday night, tune in to Larry and the Boys as we're now sponsored by HBO and Curb Your Enthusiasm. In all seriousness, let's talk about the raffle. We're having a little bit of what we call a scoring explosion. 6 teams last week scored over the 100-point mark. Not all of them won. 4 teams are averaging over 100 points per game in this young season, including the tight ends, one of those teams that scored well over 100 points last week, but found itself on the short side of the stick. They lost to the Spankos, who came up 11 points short of the all-time single-point record held by the Big W's. They scored 153 way back when, compared to the 142 the Spankos put on the tight ends. Speaking of another team that scored 100 points and lost, the Rolling Thunder fell in a heartbreaker, 121-118, as Joseph Adai came up short to give that win to the tight ends. The other running back on that team had a pretty good day, you might say. Chris Brown set the single-game record with 52 points scored in a single game, beating the 49 that Adrian Peterson had put up in 2007. So hats off to Chris Brown, our new single-game most points scored champion of the world, or whatever he's champion of. So you ask yourself, we made no scoring changes. Where are all these points coming from, Chris? I don't understand. Well, I'm with you. I'm not sure what it is either. Could be anomaly. We could see the rest of the season nobody even come close to 100 points. I don't know. We could be drafting better. There could be just more points being scored in the NFL. We're soon to find out. We could look back 20 years from now and notice that this is the season where all the records have a little asterisk next to them. Well, we could be in the midst of our own asterisk-based career. Or maybe we'll look back and say that this was the juiced ball era. I know I can speak for myself when I say that my balls are plenty juiced. Let's get to the predictions. We talked about the snake-bit Rolling Thunder. They find themselves 8th ranked 0-2, taking on the newly crowned number 1 Dharm Initiative, who finds themselves at 2-0. Looking this over, you're wondering, is this the week that Rolling Thunder can figure it out, kind of outscore an opponent, maybe? Let's see. I think the quarterbacks are going to probably have the similar days. However, if one's going to have a big day, I think Aaron is the one to have it, which would help the Thunder. But looking at the rest of the matchups at running back, wide receiver, and tight end, I think I'm leaning towards the Dharma boys here. I'm going to go ahead and say put some money down on your Dharma initiative to win this game, which I'm sure does bring a smile to the lips of the Rolling Thunder owner to know that we're betting against them. Our second game of the week is the number 3 ranked 1-1 Steel Curtain, and I think if you're like me, it sends a chill up your spine, maybe down into your genitals, into your toes, and definitely my fingernails, to see the curtain up near the top of any leaderboard. Because once they're in there, they kind of set their roots in. You got to go get weed killer, and you got to get something to get the stump out. And 9 times out of 10, I got to call somebody in. It's just a pain in the ass. But anyway, like I said, once they get in there, they get kind of set in their ways and don't like to give up the top ranking. So curtain, where was I? Oh, the curtain, number 3, 1-1, taking on the helpless, hopeless Big W's. I can't think of another adjective to use there. They're 0-2. They're 9th ranked, as I mentioned. Looking at this game, not much on paper here. The W's maybe a slight edge at running back, but that's not going to be enough to overtake the mighty Curtain here. I think the Curtain builds an early big lead. Has to maybe at a point or two maybe hold on, clutch his testicles in his hand. As the Sunday night, I think the W's have somebody going, but it's not going to be enough. The Steel Curtain wins this one, and as I said, it deepens their hold on the top rankings here. Game 3 is your Squirrels, who I struggle to say these words aloud, to be honest with you, are number 2 team in the country right now, 2-0. Huge win last week against the Rolling Thunder, hanging in there against the 52 that Chris Brown put up, and then in tortoise-like fashion, just slow, methodical, 20 points here, 18 points here, 25 points there. Just fantastic, full-around team effort for the Squirrels. They're 2-0. and number 2 ranked in the country. They're going to take on the tight ends, who, again, no stranger to putting up big points. They're 1-1, 6th ranked, which is about where the tight ends find themselves. Middle of the road. For most of the year, they'll hang around that. They'll flirt a little bit at the top, but they usually don't find themselves dropping too low. And at the end of the year, it's a question: is this the tight ends that go into the playoffs, or is this the tight ends that fall back into the pack? Remains to be seen. But right now, we're going to hover back and forth, wins and losses. Looking over this one, Drew Brees has been unstoppable so far. I think that continues this week at Buffalo. I think he puts up big points. I don't think that's going to be enough for the Squirrels. Again, I'm looking at the rest of the lineups. If Gore can do half of what he did last week, and maybe if Jones-Drew could do double of what he did, this turns into a laugher. No, not a laugher, but it turns into a win for the tight ends. Now, the question is, will that happen? It's Gore, huge week last week. Jones-Drew against Houston, we'll see. So, to be honest with you, I'm saying this is a flip a coin kind of game. I'd go with, let's go tight ends. So we're going to pick the tight ends to upset the Squirrels. So that's game 3. Game 4, well, here it is. It's the number 10 Livid Llamas. Thank you very much. 0-2, taking on the recently dethroned and number 5 Classified Boys at 1-1. Classified, tough week last week, but nothing says get well soon like a game against your Llamas. So looking at this matchup, I mean, I think you all know who's winning this game, right? The Classified wins it. So let me just give you a little bit of additional fuel for that fire. If you have access to a bookie or Las Vegas, you might want to put your money on the over in the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game, as I look for Carson Palmer to throw for 4 scores, well over 300 yards, and just have a banner day. Flip side of the coin, the Houston-Jacksonville game could end 6-3 with maybe, I'm thinking Schwab throwing maybe a record 10 interceptions in the first quarter before blowing out his knee and, catching on fire. So I would take the under there, definitely. Similarly, the Miami-San Diego game, this could be the end of all things Ronnie Brown. So it's been a great run. I scored some points with him last week. So I think you guys get the idea. Take the Classified and bet the house on that. So that leaves us with one game here. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? What? What? It is? All right, I'll save you. I'll save you the rest of the dance. I did have a beautifully choreographed number though for you, but just take my word for it. What? I love this part. It's a white man's over back there. So it's the Hottie Bowl. Everyone loves the Hottie Bowl, and here it is. First match of the year. Number 4 Spankos, 2-0, taking on the number 7 Hot Attack at 1-1. If you're like me, and I hope you are, because I'm really kind of fun to be around. If you're like me, you were probably shocked by the research done by the Spankonian leaders that showed that Spankos were 12-1 against Brother John and Hot Attack. Quite frankly, I was too lazy to go verify that, so we'll just take him at his word. So the question is this lucky number 13? Looking this over, I see that the Hot Attack's going to have the edge here at the quarterback, but assuming that Beanie Wells really isn't getting the nod for the Spankos, then I think I like the Andre Johnson, Witten, and Olsen to put up some decent numbers, despite what I might have said earlier about that Houston-Jacksonville game, and I think that John and the Hot Attack boys are going to need big numbers from Mr. Slayton just to kind of keep it close here. I don't see it happening. I think you're going to see the Spankos go to 13-1 against Brother John. So there you have it, folks. I do want to call out, as you know, the Ibis is not over my shoulder as he has been in previous weeks. Tough game yesterday, but I've heard that he should be back next week making an appearance. So there is that. Keep the faith, brother. Talk to you guys later. Have a great week, and be true to your school.